Did you ever wonder why? Being young was my mistake.
Seeing you now brings a tear to my eyes.
Oh, if you go,
I have to cry.
here we are face to face. It just seems so far away.
Oh, baby, I hear your voice, that your dreams are yesterday. Oh, we were loving out of time.
Loving out of time, girl.
We were loving out of time. We were loving out of time. We were loving out of Honey, when I saw your face, it felt like yesterday.
Oh, baby, when I heard your voice, I knew I'd have to say, oh, no.
We were loving out of
It was October, maybe November, I can't remember exactly. We were climbing in Finale with François, and François likes very much sun and hot during the winter. François knows about Pranang, of course, because it is a very famous place, but I don't think he really understand how beautiful is this place. And so I showed him a photograph in Diapos about Pranang, and he get crazy about this place, and they said, okay, let's go, we have to go.
Alors, la Thaïlande ou plutôt Pranang?
I really wanted to come here to Thailand, or rather Pranang, because many of my friends who'd been here on holiday had told me a lot about it. And since I was free in January, because there are no competitions then, I took advantage of the opportunity to take a trip here. And luckily or unluckily, when I got here I completely forgot about relaxing. But I just climbed and climbed, because with all those stalactites, well, you feel like trying them out. And in the end I climbed a lot and had a great time.
Je me suis régalé ici.
That's where we're going, and it's fantastic.
I've come to Thailand over and over again because of its unique combination of fantastic climbs on the most beautiful crags you can get, surrounded by landscapes that are absolutely unique. What about the sea, the sky, the climate? It's so beautiful, and most of it all, it's the atmosphere that brings me here year after year. I just can't stay away from this place. It's such a young, relaxed and laid-back atmosphere, and that's what I love about this place. You learn two things in Pranang: to sort out your climbs based on the sun, or better, the shade, and to watch the tides. Here in Waco, at high tide, you're stuck. You need a boat to get back. There's no walking back. Make sure your boatman has understood what time you want to be picked up and where. They always smile and say, okay, okay, but this doesn't always mean they understand you. Spending a night here in Waco, for example, isn't that exciting at all. Every time I watch François climb, I learn so much. The funny thing is that he says exactly the same thing, talking about his competitors.
Dans ma vie de grimpeur de haut niveau,
In my life as a top climber, there have certainly been people I wanted to meet because they were a symbol in the climbing arena. People like Yuji Hirayama and Lynn Hill, because they were the stars. They had something about them, and I wanted to meet them to get to know them. And I saw that in fact they had great skills, like Lynn had the skill of giving her best at any given moment, and Yuji, great concentration in his climbing. I didn't know that these were skills then. Then I tried to develop these skills. At a given time, like in a competition, I would no longer try to understand what I had to do at that moment, but rather these people would come to my mind. When I had to do a dyno and I didn't feel enough concentration, I'd say to myself, I won't make it. But then I'd see Lynn Hill in Lyon, whose strength was about to fail her, and yet she gave of her best to get to the last hold and made it. Well, I wouldn't have bet a penny on her then. This has happened to me too, finding myself in the same situation, well below my extreme limits, and saying to myself, I can't do it. But then, also, think of Lynn, who was really desperate and made it. You can do it. You're left with enough strength to do it. And, up, in that precise moment, I could hold on, just when I thought it wouldn't be possible at all. There are people who have such a lot of charisma that they can really help you improve your climbing.
Permettre de progresser en escalade.
In Pranang forms beautiful routes and exciting moves, as well as pumpy overhangs. If you're not Spider-Man, you better do your best with the footwork, and as François says, learn from the monkeys. Wow!
Dans ce style de voie très surplombante,
In this kind of route, so overhanging,
le ballon,
you do a lot of swinging,
un peu comme le font les singes.
a bit like
Les singes,
monkeys
ils
do.
se servent énormément. Moi, j'ai
Actually,
beaucoup
monkeys use this technique quite a
dans la
lot.
nature, là, quand on se promène.
I've observed monkeys at the zoo or in the wilderness.
Rencontré.
You know, when you're walking and you happen to meet one of them coming round a corner, to analyze their gestures, their
Ils
dinos.
utilisent beaucoup la force du ballon.
Monkeys move lightly and swing a lot.
Ils rajoutent un petit peu
They
de
use
force
the
eux-mêmes,
momentum
juste
they
ce qu'ils
get
ont
from
besoin
swinging
pour aller,
to
aller
go
droit.
for another reach,
Un point qui
and they
vont
add a
très
little
fort.
amount of power.
Et s'ils étaient complètement arrêtés,
If
ils
they
n'y
were
arriveraient
completely
jamais.
still,
Grâce à ce
they'd
ballon
never be
énergie
able to
qui
reach a
sont
branch which
emmagasinés
is
avec
2 meters
un
away.
balancier, ils arrivent à
This
rajouter un peu de
is
force et à
what
aller très
I
loin.
try to bring
Et
into
c'est ce que-
climbing,
ce que j'essaie de faire
using
quand
the
je
momentum of the previous
dans les
move.
gros surplombs.
And I succeed
Mais
sometimes,
on n'y arrive jamais aussi bien
but
que
never
ça.
as often as the monkeys.
C'est pour ça que je suis
If I were as
obsédé
good,
par les singes.
I'd make great progress in this kind of route, or at least I'd try to.
Peut-être encore plus fort.
There, a monkey would go straight to the other side of the cave. I can hardly get there.
Eux, ils arriveraient.
The only advantage I have over the monkeys is that I have fun repeating a route even 10 times, while monkeys would soon get fed up.
Tonsai Bay, which everybody calls Andaman Beach, is the top crag in Penang and probably the best known among climbers worldwide.
Nice place, isn't it?
Andaman Cafe is so different from all the bars back at Riley. I mean, climbers talking about climbing, relaxing. Come over and see for yourselves.
Tonsai, c'est
Tonsai. This is the most fabulous crag in Pranang because the hardest routes are right here. Not only the hardest, but also the most overhanging. There are lots of horizontal routes and huge stalactites, and behind us the cafe. There's also a route called Andaman Cafe, and it's the climbers' meeting point. Climbers meet here in the evening to have a drink and listen to music. Now, there's such an easygoing atmosphere.
très décontracté.
Tonsai is also a good crag for warming up on. It's in the shade in the morning. Let's look for a route which isn't too overhanging and has got some big holes. Not that one, it's a bit too hard. The one next to it, maybe. Ah, this is a good one. Here we go. Now I've got my elephant stool, which I'm going to sit down on. And of course, my beach mat. You have to carefully lay down the rope and gear.
Climbing in Andaman is a good training to approach longer pitches, such as Chicken Skin, 40 meters of 7B+, or the first pitch of Inaka on Tawan Wall, with its never-ending 50 meters of 7A, and Gandalf, 30 meters of 8A+. Unless you are staying in Penang for a very long time, you better train on the climbing wall at home before coming over.
Alors, on passe beaucoup de temps, bien sûr, à s'entraîner.
Well, I spend a lot of time training on a climbing wall, and for a very good reason. It's the best way to improve physically. By training a lot, you can develop huge athletic skills, which I especially need, because it isn't actually my strong point. I lack power compared to many of the top climbers. I'm good at technical and smooth moves, technique, first of all, footwork, how I put my weight on the footholds. I mean, my feet don't slip, I don't make mistakes, but most of all, the way I plan and make my moves. In fact, I don't climb upwards mechanically. I analyze the move, look at the hold, understand it. I find a solution, and then I try to implement my solution with the utmost precision. And this is why my climbing may look so precise and perfect. At times, I mean, because I've understood it. I know where I'm going, and this is really my strength, my technical and tactical skills.
Et c'est ça un peu ma force, donc c'est des qualités techniques et tactiques.
1 plus 1 is 2, 13 is 4. 6 plus 6 is 3, and 9 is 9.
bien sûr,
Well, there's no way a climber can reach the top levels in competition or climb the highest routes on rock without great athletic skills. When it comes to physical power, pure power, well, bouldering is my weak point, and yet I train a lot for this, especially in the bunker. I don't do much bouldering on rock, but I do a lot indoors. But there must be something in my genes. Despite all my training, I don't seem to be making great progress at this. Vice versa, I'm very good at endurance climbing on long routes, 50 moves and over. I'm not bad at this, even when compared to the best.
Dans cette discipline. C'est bon ça.
6 plus 6 is 3, and 9 is 9.
watching him climb, you see the difference between one who climbs 8A plus at his best and François, who is so much confident on this grade. How does he do it? He is a natural talent. He's got a flair for it, sure, but he also trained. I went over to his place in France and saw him training very hard. That's the secret.
This is my training bunker. This is where I climb without using my feet. Now these boards may all look the same, but actually they're differently spaced. Here, for example, they're widely spaced, and here they're a bit nearer. And then, of course, there's the actual size of the holes. These holes are big enough for me to have no problem hanging on just with a single arm. And they're also of wood. And if I want to hang on one arm, I can do it. Then when I can climb slowly, static, because I can keep the hold, and I have time to move my hand to go to the next. And I can down climb too, if I want. But if I want to climb on smaller holds like these wooden edges, you can see they're rounded, and what's more, they're put on overhanging boards. Well, this is much more difficult. First, I've got to get some chalk, coat my fingers in chalk, and then I'm still completely incapable of hanging on a single arm. I have to lunge from one board to the other, like this. If I want to get to the top, to the summit. It's really much harder, and I have to be much stronger in my fingers to do this.
Unfortunately, Pranang's not only for people who climb 8-8 on site. There are marvellous routes for clumsier climbers, like on our Nang Tower. Superb 6B routes with an astounding view. You get there by boat and start climbing off the boat. Make sure you go when the cliff's in the shade and the tide is high, otherwise you'll have a tough time to get to the first bolt and you'll melt under the scorching sun like we did. By the way, you might have wondered why in the film François is always climbing in the sun with a temperature of 40 degrees centigrade. Every time he complained about the atrocious heat, the film director would reply, "The light is much better this way and the sun highlights the rock's texture." No comment. Most crags can be reached on foot, walking along the beach or smooth paths into the jungle. Some of the paths, like this one connecting Railay East Beach to Princess Cave, unveil all the beauty of the nature in Pranang. Low Tide Wall, Jurassic Park and Weko Wall can only be reached at low tide or by boat. There is no way back. Keep an eye on the time. At high tide, the beach in low tide in Weko turns as small as a handkerchief. You really don't want to sleep on it. Low Tide Wall is a super 6B. After the first overhang, the routes continue in two beautiful pitches, not terribly pumpy. The chimney halfway through the route reveals the glorious view below. Even the less determined climbers will find in Pranang tens of pitches up to 6B, a little bit everywhere.
Ça, c'est
This is the pair I use in competition right now. I'm replacing the shoelaces because they aren't a new pair, as you can see. They're worn. But this is when they're perfect. I mean, they're worn to just the right point. They fit perfectly, they're softer, a little less hard than at the start, but still new enough to grip on small footholds.
Mais encore assez neuves pour pouvoir charger des toutes petites prises.
The shoelaces have worn out, so I'm replacing them to be sure they won't break during a competition. Because on the day of the competition they tell you, it's your turn in a minute, and if your shoelace breaks then, it's the worst thing that can happen to you, because you get so anxious, wondering if you've got enough time to replace them before you start. Well, so it's very important to prepare your shoes for a competition. Then, when they're perfect, I keep them exclusively for competition purposes. I don't use them for training, because in 10 days of climbing they'll go from perfect to worn. But I could still climb in them, but on far less difficult routes.
Permettre de faire une dizaine de compétitions encore. Et après, je serai obligé de changer.
As you might have seen, there are pockets and holes of all sizes and shapes, small and long stalactites, sharp or rounded edges. Indeed, the quality of the rock in Penang is superb. Yet, being on the seashore and close to the equator, it can be very damp. So, bring lots of chalk from home. You'll need it.
Last night I saw it in your eyes. Something was wrong. I was a fool not to see how you kept it from me for so long. And without words you had spoken the truth, I was losing you. On the edge of a broken heart and there's nothing I can do. Tell me there's hope for tomorrow. On the edge of a broken heart and I can't let go of you. Don't you know I still love you. Last night I held you in my arms, but you turned away. There were tears in your eyes as I felt your love drifting away. I cried the night and refused to believe you were leaving me.
Such an overhang, at least 7B, and he doesn't seem to get a bit pumped. He's so natural and smooth. Every time François gets close to a hard climb, which is most of the time anyway, everybody stops and stares. There are excellent climbers around from all over the world, all of them still and watching François making his attempt on sight.
Last night I held you in my arms, but you turned away. There were tears in your eyes as I felt your love drifting away. and there's nothing I can do. Tell me there's hope for tomorrow. On the edge of a broken heart and I can't let go of you. Tell me you'll be there tomorrow. On the edge of a broken heart. On the edge of a broken heart.
Melting Wall is the most remote crag from the beach and the bungalows. Well, it's really 30 minutes from Riley, walking past Andaman, or else 5 minutes in a boat plus 5 on foot. It is perhaps the most beautiful crag in Pranang, together with Taiwan Wall. You get there through 2 short caves, and the crag really offers such a superb and mysterious view, framed by huge stalactites. Oh, about stalactites. Don't ill-treat them. Remember that Pranang lies inside a national park. The number of climbers increases year after year, and the progressive damage to stalactite might eventually lead to a ban on climbing within the park. It has happened already with the crags in Princess Cave. Go there and you'll see what we've lost.
Cross-side is named after 2 huge pockets where you have to make a real hard crossover with your arms. François didn't know and went straight up with an elegant dino. Lucky him.
These stalactites, hanging in the void, can be up to 50 meters long and 15 meters wide, but they're not as tough as they look like.
Somebody
It's time to tell you about Pranang in just a few words. The bar, the climbing, the sea, it's all so near. Oh, this is life. The day is coming to an end. Most of us enjoy an evening swim and a bit of relax. Those who still have some energy left, François and Nicola for example, get caught in a beach volley game, just to make sure who's going to pay for the beers tonight. The sun's ready to set and the bar is crowded, while the beach is getting empty. The best tables have been taken a couple of hours ago. All the same, we sit down. It's time to get together, have a good beer and talk about the routes of the day, while staring at the unforgettable show the sun puts up every evening.
You'll break my fall, my spirit
There are different sunsets, the red ones and the light blue. Sometimes the sun cheats us all, tiptoeing away behind a cloud. Well, yet another dream day in Pranang is over. We can call it the day.
Sonach in a half we could fratkin Kumaglat ludin shina shlifta ja glasa On schimmar en green express